Trump takes questions from reporters meeting with, the meeting with Putin was called off. I wanted to cover this. So there's Caitlin Collins, Trump's, he doesn't know how to feel about her. He feels like, she looks a lot like some of the women that worked for Epstein and Ghislaine. So he doesn't know quite how to, like, he's happy to see her, but he's not sure why. Also, bagged out as fuck. So here we go.
Mr. President, the meeting with Vladimir Putin is canceled or put on hold. Do you know what happened there, and does that affect your decision whether or not to send tomahawks to Ukraine?
No, I don't want to have a wasted meeting. I don't want to have a waste of time, so I'll see what happens. But
a wasted meeting and a waste of time. That's for you, Sergei Lavrov.
We did all of these great deals, great peace deals. They're all peace deals. Agreements, solid agreements, every one of them. But
not so much. I mean, the only one that was really hot was Gaza, still going on, no ceasefire whatsoever, and India and Pakistan have done this dance several times. And since then, Pakistan has launched an attack on Afghanistan, so maybe they just wanted to stop fighting with India so that they could seize territory from Afghanistan.
This one, and I said, go to the line of battle.
Yeah, you know where that is. It's over in the battle zone, which is an awesome 8-bit video game.
The battlefield lines, and you pull back and you go home, and everybody takes some time off, because you got two countries that are killing each other. Two countries are losing 5,000 to 7,000 soldiers a week. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. The Trump doctrine.
We haven't made a determination.
Are you asking the Justice Department to look into the federal investigations into you and look for compensation, and how much are you asking for?
Who's asking for what?
Are you asking the Justice Department to pay you compensation for your federal investigations into you? Are you asking them to pay compensation, and how much?
Into me? I don't get any compensation.
Yeah, he has no idea what she's talking about. Even it's the $230 million he wants to be reimbursed for his legal fees. Because America first, and we can't spend money we don't have, and yet he's going to get $230 million from the government for what, right?
Can I do it for nothing? I gave up my salary. Into me?
No, it's going to be the Justice Department. Are you asking?
Yeah, he's gone. Like, this is the end of the day. We're getting near the path is narrowing. The gate is closing. There's only the gap is getting narrower to escape this, and he's getting near the tail end.
Asking them to pay
where his brain just starts to fart out.
You compensation for the federal investigations that happened to you, and how much are you asking
well,
for?
I guess they probably owe me a lot of money for that. Probably, yeah, that's true. That's very interesting. No, I get no salary. I gave up my salary. It's a good salary. Not as much as these guys make, but that's okay. It's a lot of money. And I don't, as you know, I didn't take it in the first 4 years. I'm not taking it in these 4 years either. But as far as all of the litigation and everything that's been involved, yeah, they probably owe me a lot of money. But if I get...
Who's they? Who's they? Pam Bondi runs the Justice Department right now, and you're the President of the United States. That's taxpayer dollars.
Money from our country, I'll do something nice with it, like give it to charity or give it to the White House while we restore the White House, and we're doing a great job.
Oh, I got a good idea. Why don't you give it to charity via USAID?
Job in the White House. As you know, the ballroom is under construction.
The Epstein Ballroom.
They've been trying to get it for 150 years. And
yeah, I got sick of hearing it during, the Carter administration, especially.
It's really, I think it's going to be fantastic. But we'll see what happens. I mean,
the Epstein Ballroom.
We have
hashtag Epstein Ballroom.
Numerous cases having to do with the fraud of the election, the 2020 election, and because of everything that we found out.
No, stupid. She's talking about the fraud cases against you.
I guess they owe me a lot of money, but I'm not looking for money. I'm looking for really. I think it's got to be handled in a proper way. If it's not handled in a proper way, we don't want it to happen again. We can never let what happened in the 2020 election happen again. We just
Well, yes, that would include you running for office again. So, yeah, as long as that doesn't happen, I think we're good.
can't let that happen. And
Yeah, as long as we don't actually have two borderline 80-year-olds running again, I don't think that'll be an issue for a while.
so the way we go, I know Cash is working on it. Everybody's working.
Oh yeah, he's working on it. He's got the Charlie Kirk thing solved. They caught both of the guys that, you know, half of them did it.
On it, but certainly Tulsi's working on it. We can't let that happen again to our country. Look at what's happened where you have millions of people being allowed to come into our country, all because of a crooked election, where they come from prisons, they come from jails, they come
Right. So I mean, they just wanted you to feel comfortable.
from mental institutions and insane asylums. They're drug dealers. The people that they've allowed
Can someone hand him a pudding, please?
to come into our country. We cleaned them out in Washington, D.C. We have a very safe capital right now. We have a capital that's as safe as it can be. But I don't know. I mean, you'd have to ask the lawyers about that.
Mr. President, what did you hear from that? Mr. President, a comment and
Yeah, he's on a fade. He's over it.
a question, please, for you. First of all, you have just 1 billion plus hearts around the globe, including in India, by celebrating the Diwali in the White House right here. And my other comment is, Mr. President.
Oh yeah, they brought in the Indian leaders, and Kash Patel came in to celebrate Diwali, and they got the little like lamp right there to celebrate. And he probably thinks he won the Diwali award, and is going to put it back there with the Iwo Jima statue. But maggots flipped out because Kash Patel wished everybody a happy Diwali because he's Indian. And they were like, go back to your own fucking country. Like maggots jumped down his throat.
President,
I like his question already.
in February, you and the White House staff gave a warm welcome to the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi.
Right.
And after that, I decided to make a short trip to India for you, how popular you are in India. And I went there in a holiest also festival there. Millions of people were there.
He loves stories. He loves stories, and he loves listening to them with people with accents because it's easy on his ears. Great. Yeah. Cool story, bro.
There. And also, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was addressing a media event, 5,000 people. I was one of them there listening to him. And when I went to several
Right. Anyways, and your point is, get to the part where they love me.
states in India, what I found out, Mr. President, 3 people are most popular there. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, President Donald Trump, Mr. Kash Patel, and also with the surprise, our White House press secretary, Caroline Levitt.
She's doing good, right? She is doing good. Superstar.
And Mr.
Superstar, yes, and the Indians love blondes, I guess is what you're saying. You're creeping on, you can't creep on Caroline Levitt. That's my job.
President, my question is, you had a great relationship with the people of India when you visited India, and with the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, and also with the Indian American community. Where do we stand today, all those relations from 45 to 47 in the future, Mr. President? Please, thank
Well,
you.
we stand great. And the people of India, I love the people of India, and we're working on some great deals between our countries. I
Yes, like 100% tariffs that they don't stop buying Russian oil, right?
spoke to Prime Minister Modi today, as I mentioned before, and we just have a very good relationship.
Yeah, super good. Thanks for the whole story. Also, I want to hold on. Let me see if I can jump in to this. The meeting with the Secretary General. There's a point where, how long is this one? Is this the full version of it? Yeah. So I'll see if I can jump to the part where he starts answering questions. But
Mark.
yeah, here you go. Okay, sorry.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to have a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine. We've become friends, actually, through the trials and tribulations of everything. Mark Rutte, Secretary General of NATO, highly respected.
Highly respected. Just like I don't let anybody into my weird little gold playground unless they are highly respected. Also, Pete Hegseth, not happy. Also, Marco Rubio salivating at the idea to be president one day.
Every country, almost every country in Europe, I think you can almost take away the almost pretty soon.
Yes, you can almost take away the almost pretty soon. Almost soon, I think is the...
But they all have great respect for the leader, and he is the leader. And
oh, okay, well, good. I was worried that they had respect for someone else who maybe wasn't in the room.
And we've had some very good discussions today, and things are going along pretty well as regarding Ukraine, Russia.
Are they, though? You just canceled a meeting, you're raising sanctions today, and you're denying tomahawks to Ukraine because you think it takes too long for them to learn how to use them.
We thought...
He's like, we were going to give them the tomahawks, but it takes a year to learn how to use them. So it's because a lot of people think you should throw really hard and let them flip over and over in, but you really just want one cycle.
It would be a little bit easier. That's turned out to be tougher than the Middle East. The Middle East was supposed to be the tough one.
I don't know, maybe if you spent less time fucking gold leafing everything and changing the chandeliers, maybe just put some, I don't know, a little more brain power into... I'm kidding. There is none.
And we've solved that puzzle, but this one will get solved also.
Yeah, it's solved. I mean, I don't even know what the Israelis and the Hamas are even going on about. It's solved, okay? It's done. What more could you want? You've got everything you want. Rubble, Hamas still in charge, 2/3 of the dead bodies returned. It's done. Yeah. Check.
So I want to just say it's an honor to have you, Mark. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for hosting again. And we were texting, I think it was on the day when you were in Israel and in Egypt, this tremendous success you had under your leadership, bringing peace to the Middle East.
Thank you.
And then we texted each other and said, and the next big thing has to be Ukraine, Russia. And I want to help, NATO wants to help, my colleagues want to help to basically deliver on your vision of peace in Ukraine. And I really want to thank you for everything you're doing, including breaking the deadlock with Putin, starting the dialogue in February when you came in as president in January, but also for everything you did with NATO. The fact that we are now at this 5%, the huge success in The Hague at the NATO summit, the fact that Europeans are also stepping up when it comes to Ukraine, basically the weapons from the US being delivered to Ukraine, paid for by allies, and the Europeans coming together to discuss how can we sustain Ukraine post the peace deal. All of this is evidence of your leadership of pushing the Europeans and the Canadians to do more.
Man, they got his
to
number.
deliver, and to equalize.
This would be, again, what I would call the old Macron handshake.
And spending with the US. So on all of this, and today we will talk more on how we can really bring Ukraine to the next phase and get this terrible war, and all the bloodshed ended.
And as you know, we are going to be making a big trip next week. Some of you are going with us. We'll be going to Malaysia, South Korea, and Japan.
So the Budapest thing was just never on then, I guess?
In South Korea, I'll be meeting with President Xi of China. We'll have a pretty long meeting scheduled. We can work out a lot of our questions and our doubts and our tremendous assets together. So we'll
Great. So who's bringing the lube, you or him?
look forward to that. I think something will work out. We have a very good relationship, but that'll be a big one. We canceled the meeting with President Putin. It didn't feel right to me. It didn't feel like we were going to get to the place we have to get, so I canceled it. But we'll do it in the future.
Oh, but the Alaska one went so well. I mean, on the scale of worst summits ever.
But next week we'll be with many of you in those locations that I told you. Then it's back to Washington. So thank.
Somebody just ran him through his schedule, and it's just fresh in the front of his head. Like, I'm going where?
Thank you very much, everybody. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, can you tell us a little bit about why you're elevating sanctions against Russia right now?
I just felt it was time.
Yeah, it was more of an emotional thing. You know, I was like, feels right. You know, like these sanctions, you know, are. I thought like Libra, Virgo would be a good period, but I changed. I mean, I feel like honestly in my heart that these sanctions have a Capricorn rising, so they're more like January-ish. But I figured
waited a long time. I thought that we'd go long before the Middle East. And Mark, as you know, we did the Middle East +7, so we did 7 different wars.
The Middle East +7.
Wars from Pakistan and India to so many.
Azerbaijan, Armenia.
Yeah, jump in there, Mark, and say Azerbaijan, Armenia, so he doesn't say Albania again.
Which they said was impossible to do. All these wars I did, and the one that we have left, we have 1 left. It'll be 9.
Yeah, if you don't count Pakistan and Afghanistan, I guess, but fuck them, who cares? Or any of the African countries that are fighting.
We have 1 left, and I think we'll get that done.
Sudan, nobody.
Too. I think we're on our way to getting it done.
We have to. Yeah.
Mr. President, do you have a timeline for when you think the story is going to be over because of your leadership?
No, I don't have a timeline. You can't have in war, it's hard to have a timeline. Yeah.
So wise. Yeah, in war, it's hard to have a timeline. Although battlefield generals and leaders always do for actions, and because they've got a certain amount of reserve of both weapons, their forces, and the supplies. So we got 3 months left of this before we have to resupply that. And so they set all kinds of lines, but you can't in war, nah.
You know, so many things happen in war.
It's true. It's true. And love, I've heard.
Go ahead.
What about Tomahawk missiles? Putin is definitely
Well,
afraid
the
of
problem with the Tomahawk that a lot of people don't know, it'll take a minimum of 6 months, usually a year, to learn how to use them. They're highly complex.
Well, then obviously this war is going to be solved in that period of time. Without them, why start now?
So the only way a Tomahawk is going to be shot is if we shot it, and we're not going to do that. But there is a tremendous...
I got to tell you, like, this is gaudy as fuck. Like the White House, that like all the gold all over everything. It looks fucking cheap. Seriously, this is bizarre.
This learning curve with the Tomahawk. It's a very powerful weapon, very accurate weapon, and maybe
unless, of course, you don't know how to use it, and that takes a year.
Maybe that's what makes it so complex. But it will take a year. It takes a year of intense training to learn how to use it.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think that's true at all. It does not take a year. Does it have a targeting system? You pick a target, you use satellites to give you the particular target, and then you, let me guess, launch it, and then it lands on its target because it's very accurate and powerful.
And we know how to use it, and we're not going to be teaching other
Who, you and Pete?
people. It's too far out into the future.
Yes, Mr. President.
Yes,
I saw, Mr. President, that you said as recently as yesterday that you still believe that Putin wants to end the war.
Yeah,
Then today
I do.
You took this step to ratchet the sanctions and put more pressure on him. What else are you going to do?
Yeah, Putin wants to end the war by winning it, by taking Ukraine. That's how he wants it to end. Everybody wants the war they're fighting to end with them victorious. That's not the fucking point. He doesn't want to end as it is right now. He doesn't want to end without half or all of Ukraine. That's the issue, shithead.
To encourage him to get there, or can you explain why you do believe he wants peace?
Yeah, it's a good question. Today is a very big day in terms of what we're doing. Look,
and what would that be?
these are tremendous sanctions. These are very big. Those are against their 2 big oil companies, and we hope that they won't be on for long. We hope that the war will be settled. We just answered.
So as soon as he tells you it's settled, you're just going to take the sanctions off. You're just operating on trust me, bro, with this dipshit. Hold on one second. Let's see. The newest ones officially. U.S. has announced new sanctions against Rosneft and Lukoil in an effort to pressure Moscow. Came one day after Trump said the meeting was canceled. U.S. Secretary Bessent said, Treasury Secretary said the new sanctions were needed due to Putin's refusal to end this senseless war. He said oil companies fund Kremlin's war machine. Now's the time to stop the killing and for an immediate ceasefire, Bessent said in a statement. Take further action. His office will take further action if necessary to support President Trump's effort to end yet another war. He called this. Trump called the sanctions. I think this is, and then it goes to what he talks about here. Yeah, that they were tremendous.
Having to do with the various forms of missiles and everything else that we're looking.
Yes, various forms of missiles and other things. The pointy ones, the round ones, the ones that come with a parachute, the ones that don't, the ones that look like Cheerios.
But
all the different kinds, the various kinds.
We don't think that's going to be necessary. We would like to see them just take the line that has been formed over quite a long period of time and go and let's go home. Last week they had almost.
Yeah, the Ukrainians don't because it's still their fucking country. It's still their people behind that line.
8,000 soldiers killed. Many Russians were killed last week. Many Ukrainians were killed last week.
In a war between those two countries? Weird.
We think it's ridiculous and would like to have it end.
Why do you think you want peace, though? Why do you still believe that?
I think they want peace. I think they both want peace at this point. It's been, it's
based on what? The Ukrainians have met with you and said yes, and they've even gone so far as saying they're willing to, do a ceasefire and all this kind of stuff to try and move towards some sort of conclusion. The Russians have not. And every time this asshole says, I think they want peace, they literally, it's almost like that translates in Russian to, launch the missiles at a kindergarten.
It's almost 4 years. You're going into 4 years. And if I were president, it never would have started. But yeah, it's time.
Well, then, if it wouldn't have started if you were president, why won't it end because you are? If it wouldn't have started because of something, whatever the fuck that was, why wouldn't it stop immediately? Oh shit, daddy's home, right? That's what they were saying about him. Why?
Mr. President, on the shutdown, do you plan to meet with Democrats before you head to Asia? And if not, why not meet with Democrats?
Well, I think it's a shame that it's shut down because we have the greatest economy, as you were saying before. We have the greatest economy in the world right now, by far, the United States.
We literally have forever. Since what? The 40s?
Almost 18, now it was 17, now it's $18 trillion being poured into our country, and it's no time for shutdowns.
Yeah, they're just dumping it in. I don't even know. That's why nobody can tell it's shut down. It's just all the money's pouring in.
I don't think it's affecting what we're doing, but it's too bad for a lot of people. We have a lot of
because what you're doing has nothing to do with governance.
Good people that aren't working right now that should be, and it's because the Democrats want to try and renegotiate a deal that they had negotiated. They want $1.5 trillion given to illegal immigrants who came into the country, and it's going to hurt the health care of.
All right, I know he's trying to use that number as pressure, but it just sounds like he doesn't understand math. It's silly. It's fucking silly. Hold up the piece of paper. Hold up their request. Go, look at this right here. They're asking for $1.5 trillion to give this money to undocumented or illegal immigrants or DACA or fucking stretch it as far as you fucking want. Show anybody. Post it on Truth Social. Why won't you do that? I'll tell you why. Because it's a lie. It's nonsense.
Citizens of our country that have been paying into it, that have been working hard for it, that really deserve it. So we're never going to do that. It's not going to happen. And I will tell you, there are a lot of good Democrats that really want to make a deal. And I think all we need is 5 Democrats because we have a great support on the Republican side. So I think we need 5 Democrats, and there are a lot of them that want to make a deal. So I think at some point, common sense will prevail. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, common sense would tell you that Democrats are not asking for $1.5 trillion for undocumented immigrants to get health care so that Americans can't.
Finish up.
On the drug boat strike in the Eastern Pacific,
Yeah.
can you explain to us what that was about, how it was conducted?
Yeah, sure. Well, they had one today in the Pacific. And
Mm-hmm.
The way I look at it every time I look, because it is violent, and it's amazing that the weaponry, that everyone, they have these boats that go 45, 50 miles an hour in the water. And
yeah, I don't know if you know this, but there are Priuses that go faster than that.
When you look at the accuracy and the power, look, we have the greatest military in the world.
Right, I'm fairly certain they can take on fishing boats, asshole.
We have the greatest weapons in the world. And
Right, and I don't know why you'd have to use any of them on a boat like that.
You see a little bit of it there. One shot, everyone dead center. And
Everyone dead, that's for sure.
the only way you can't feel bad about it is you realize that you won't feel badly about it, is you realize.
No, I feel badly about it. You're murdering people extrajudicially from other countries in international waters with no evidence that you have any reason to kill them. They're not attacking our ships. They're not driving towards our ships and refusing to turn away. They're just going through the water. You could pull them over. Coast Guard does it all the fucking time. I don't know why the Navy can't.
You realize that every time you see that happen, you're saving 25,000 American lives. Every one of those boats that gets knocked out is saving 25,000 American lives, not to mention the torn up families all over the country. And whenever I see that, I say to myself, I just saved 25,000 lives.
That's because you're a fucking lunatic.
I will say that.
By the way, we don't even have evidence of any sort that those boats are headed anywhere near the United States.
There are very few boats traveling on the water right now. Actually, that includes fishing boats. That includes any other kind.
Right, because they know you don't care, and civilians are afraid they will die because you are blowing up boats sight unseen.
But there are very few boats traveling on the water. So now they'll come in by land to a lesser extent, and they will be hit on land also.
Okay, so we're going to be bombing trucks in what, Mexico and Central America? Maybe driving over the bridge on the Panama Canal? So we're going to do the same thing to trucks and cars in traffic, I suppose, driving through these other countries. So we're going to strike within their territory. Then not international waters outside of their whatever 200-mile range or whatever it is off their coastline. He's saying this. And I told you guys about the Mexico thing. He wants to attack inside Mexico, and we now have US troops in Mexico.
Go ahead, in the back, please.
Do you have legal authority if they do come?
Yes, we do. We have legal authority, right? We're allowed to do that. And if we do by land, we may go back to Congress. But we have, this is a national security problem. They killed 300,000 people last year. These drugs coming in. They killed 300,000 Americans last year, and that gives you legal authority.
Yeah, because people bought them and consumed them themselves. Also, not 300,000 is a ridiculous number. He's including everybody who died of the flu and all redneck bicycle accidents in that number. They didn't come up here again stab people with a fentanyl knife. They sold it and people took it. That is very different than a bullet. Nobody buys bullets from a dealer on the street, shares it with friends, and they all die. That's not how it works.
Authority. We have a national security. Really, I will say this: when you look at the people we're dealing with, and we know them, we know the people coming in, we know the boats, we know everything else. We're allowed to.
Well, then why don't you tell everybody who they were? If you know who they are, it shouldn't be difficult.
Do it. It's in international waters.
Right, which makes it even more fucked up because we don't control that territory either. We have no right to bomb another boat in territory we don't control.
If we don't do it, we're going to lose hundreds of thousands of people.
No, you could just pull the boats over, either arrest the people, have Interpol agents or a DEA mix with those people and throw the drugs, photograph them, test them, throw them overboard, and get the fish high, and then send them back to their country.
Now, they'll be coming in by land a little bit more because they're not coming in by boat anymore. There are no boats in the water. There are no more boats. We know the boat almost immediately.
We know the boat almost immediately. One second. Say that again. We know the what?
By boat anymore. There are no boats in the water. There are no more boats. We know the boat almost immediately.
We know the boat almost immediately. What does that fucking mean?
It's pretty unusual when you see somebody with a fishing rod and 5 engines on the back of the boat. You know, you don't need that to go fishing.
Well, you certainly would need it to get away from a squall fast. And also, they don't have a fishing pole. These would be boats that are using nets and other shit like that. And I don't doubt that some of them are drug boats. I don't get why you can't just catch them. Why is that hard?
Wait. And we will hit them very hard when they come in by land. And they haven't experienced that yet, but now we're totally prepared to do that. We'll probably go back to Congress and explain exactly what we're doing.
Probably. Almost soon.
When we come to the land.
When we come to the land.
Don't have to do that, but I think, Marco, I'd like to do that. You may respond to that if you want.
Yeah, well, I mean, the question is, bottom line, these are drug boats. If people want to stop
How do you know?
seeing drug boats blow up, stop sending drugs to the United States.
But does it matter?
Well, how do you know they're drug boats? What proof do you have they're drug boats? That's the issue. It's the extrajudicial part we have a problem with.
In the United States. Well, these are all in international waters. The boat.
Do a strike in the United States, or if we're
Well, that's a different matter. Now you're talking about a law enforcement matter. In this particular case, there are people traveling on international waters headed towards the United States with hostilities in mind.
How do you know what they have in mind? What the fuck? Sorry, you're killing them. All right, thought crimes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to thought crime. Maggots, you've done it. You've shepherded Alex Jones's fucking wet dream into the future. Congratulations, dickheads. For fuck's sake. With hostilities in mind? I don't do drugs. I've never done drugs in my life. I'm not gonna do drugs. I don't drink. I'm not interested. But I also know that there's a big difference between like hostilities in mind from a drug dealer standpoint and business in mind. These people are transporting a product. It may be a dangerous product. It may be a bad product, but it's a product nonetheless. They're not just doing it to murder Americans. And if you're making that case, then he seems to be building that case so that we have an excuse to attack these countries.
Which includes flooding our country with dangerous, deadly drugs. And they're going to be stopped.
Also, that's not a hostility. They're not trying to flood it. They're not trying to flood their own market. They're trying to make money off their drugs. They're making the drugs. They're selling the drugs. There's a big market for it. They sell it in their own countries too.
And that's what's happening. And in the case last week, you saw there was a submarine. It was a submarine. It was a submersible. That's a drug boat all the way through. We know what these boats are. The president just said it. We track them from the very beginning. We know who's on them, who they are, where they're coming from, what they
Well, then say so.
have on them.
First of all, how the fuck are we supposed to know? And like night vision aerial shot of a boat blowing up. Get the fuck out of here.
You're running drug boats. You're in grave danger.
And
yeah, if you're in a fishing boat, you're in grave danger. If you're on a fucking like small fucking trolley, you're in grave danger. You're not discriminating, asshole.
drug usage is way down, and drug usage coming from the sea, they call it ocean drugs.
They what? Who calls it ocean drugs? What the fuck? No. Are these ocean drugs? We'll turn it up. Ocean drugs. What the hell?
Way down, and drug usage coming from the sea, they call it ocean drugs. A little term that they use.
No, they don't. No one uses that term. No one calls them ocean drugs, you dumb motherfucker. They don't. Like, I don't even... What the shit? Ocean drugs. What are you, snorting salt? It's a bit fishy. What the hell? Ocean drugs. God damn. That's what they call it. I love when he, like, a term pops into his head that makes no fucking sense because he's trying to, he gets bored discussing shit. So he tries to, like, institutionalize and manufacture a new phrase, and it's just a fucking dud. Master marketing genius, ladies and gentlemen. Ocean drugs.
The ocean drugs is very close to non-existent right now.
Yes, I would argue. Yes, ocean drugs are non-existent. No one is snorting tuna, you fucking weirdo. Ocean drugs. Can you imagine being these people sitting in the chair just going, ocean drugs? What the fuck is he talking about? Nobody says ocean drugs. There's not even a Spanish phrase for that. Ocean drugs.
Right now. I wouldn't want to be in one of those boats heading away. You know, they're driving happily to destroy the lives of people, and
well, at least they're doing it happily. What are they, fucking the Seven Dwarfs?
end up, that's
of drugs, of ocean drugs.
the end of them. So the ocean drugs and the sea drugs.
Whatever, yeah, 6 of one, half dozen of another. Ocean drugs, the sea drugs, the lake drugs, the river drugs. Those are the big ones. Catfish testosterone, that's the shit. You know, like, all the weightlifters are snorting that right now. Sea drugs.
Drugs by sea, they call it also.
They do. They also call it drugs by sea. Yeah, right. Lewds if by land, drugs if by sea. Wait, let's hear that whole chunk again.
Term that they use, the ocean drugs, is very close to non-existent right now. I wouldn't want to be in one of those boats heading away. You know, they're driving happily to destroy the lives of people, and they end up, that's the end of them. So the ocean drugs and the sea drugs, drugs by sea, they call it also.
They do.
That's almost down to nothing.
Yeah, I would say it's absolutely down to nothing, since it's a term that does not exist, you fucking weirdo.
As you can imagine.
I do imagine. I imagine no one calls it that.
So they continue to come in by land at a little bit less because they see.
Yeah, land drugs. We call those land drugs. Call them earth drugs. Dirt drugs. We call those diesel drugs because most of the trucks from South America brought on diesel.
Something is going to happen. They don't like it. They see something, and they're right. Something very serious is going to happen. The equivalent of what's happening by sea.
Right. So we're going to bomb roads.
And we're going to Congress just to tell them what we're doing.
Here's the problem with bombing the trucks that I see. And see if you can follow me on this. The problem I see is that when you blow up a boat, everyone sinks to the bottom of the ocean. The boat, the people, the whatever was in there, the drugs or the tuna, it doesn't matter. It all sinks. And going to find it is ridiculous. Like, it would take a salvage operation, kind of like finding the Titanic. But when you blow something up on a road someplace, there's a lot of forensics that can be gathered. Yes? A lot more evidence left behind, as it were. Maybe that's the part you're going to have to go to Congress about?
Just to keep them informed. We have to
Someone's at my front door, but it's okay.
do it for national security. We have to do it to save lives.
No, you don't. You could capture the boats. You could literally stop the boats, arrest everybody, or you could just seize the drugs, test them, prove that they're drugs, throw them overboard so that they're destroyed, and then turn the boat around and go back where you came from, or we're going to blow you out of the water, I guess. You could do that. You don't have to actually just blow up a boat from far away that you have no idea what the actual content of the boat and who the people are and whether they're there on purpose or under duress.
Secretary Bessent said that Vladimir Putin had not been honest and forthright in his talks with you. Just wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about your feelings about that, and also, if I may, to Mimir Rutte, just your thoughts on whether Ukraine should get tomahawks. Thank you.
Well, I think that in terms of honesty, the only thing I can say is every time I speak with Vladimir, I have good conversations, and then they don't go anywhere. They just don't go anywhere. So
they're not good conversations, then, I guess. That would go against my definition of a good conversation. What you mean? You were lied to repeatedly, flattered, maybe even bullied, and then afterwards nothing you asked for happened. That would be a bad conversation if I had to really, grade it. I'd give it an F.
In that sense, but now look, he's fighting a war.
What?
He's in a war.
He is? No. He's pulling a Jimmy Dore.
That's two very competent sides, and that's the way.
I don't know. One's gigantic and the other one's small, and the small one's kicking the giant one's ass. I don't think competence is really what you would want to. Yeah, I don't think that's one of the words you would bring into the conversation. Maybe that's why you think it's good and he doesn't.
War is. You never know with war, but
yeah, that's true. You never know. I mean, you could try, but
I would say that
it's like what page in Sun Tzu's The Art of War is. You never know. Is that chapter 8? You never know.
It's time to.
It doesn't sound as weak in Japanese.
Make a deal. A lot of people are dying. They're not Americans.
This is news to me.
But they're people.
I see. Okay. So there are people, you at least, maybe this is progress. You agree that people who aren't Americans are still people. Look, I'll take any progress I can get. You know how I feel, like any step forward.
Their souls, and they're dying by the thousands, worst since World War II, and we really should stop it.
Okay, we should? All right, well then let's take the side that was bullied, send troops in and drive the other side out, I guess. That's how we would stop it.
To your other question.
What you mean is we should talk to them and they should stop it, which is what he means.
Yes, please.
Sorry, to your other question. This has been consistent from this president when we first met again after your re-election in Mar-a-Lago in November. You said we have to stop the killing. This is close to your heart, and this is your vision. That's why this war needs to end. When it comes to tomahawks or whatever system, it's up to individual nations to decide.
By the way, can I point out that a lot of foreign leaders are learning to deal with Trump like they deal with fucking Mohammed bin Salman and all these like royal fuckheads runs like these certain countries that you have to flatter these dickheads and like the what are the was it the Gungans or whatever under the sea in Star Wars, like we know like the Naboo, blah, blah, like that guy, and you have to like, oh, great one and all that kind of stuff and kiss his ass. That they know they have to deal with him this way. None of this means anything except like Trump's like, he's my new best friend. He loves me more than Melania does.
Decide whatever they want to supply to Ukraine. NATO doesn't take a position, but I can assure you this. When the president called me in July and said we want to again send weapons into Ukraine, paid for by our allies, the Canadians and the Europeans, that was an important moment. And that is now taking place, and the ambassador, myself, we're working hard at this. Already a couple of $1 billion of weaponry into Ukraine from the US, paid for by allies. So I'm not going to comment about the tomahawks, but when it comes to the US and all the support for Ukraine, it is there and it is close to the president's heart, and I know this.
I will say this, and Mark can say it better than anybody. The European nations and Canada have really pulled together, and it's beyond even that.
Because they have to.
I mean, it's really beyond that.
I was with the Australians, the New Zealanders, Japan. They all.
If you want to really add them up, we could really add them up. But
you mean all the worthwhile economies in the world who actually do good in the world are having to like join together because you're fucking things up?
NATO, basically, European and Canada, and a lot of other nations, they've really band together. They are not happy about what's happening with Russia and Ukraine. They're not happy at all. Neither am I.
You're not happy about it? No? What are you unhappy about? Do you still think Ukraine started it?
Mr. President.
Jeff?
Sir, just changing this topic slightly. I see you've got the
Yeah.
model of the White House and the ballroom.
The Epstein ballroom. They never pass up an opportunity to bring up the Epstein ballroom.
People were surprised the entire East Wing is being demolished because you had said initially that the ballroom would just touch or would not.
Well,
touch
certain
it.
areas
What
are being,
happened?
certain areas are being left. We determined that
certain areas are being left. I see. So you are demolishing uncertain areas?
After really a tremendous amount of study with some of the best architects in the world, we determined that really knocking it down, trying to use a little section. The East Wing was not much. There was not much left from the original. It was over the course of 100 years. It was changed, the columns were removed, and it was a much different building. Then a story was added on in 1948, 1949. There was a story added on, which was not particularly nice. And the building was very...
It's a terrible story. Almost as awful a story as your long-running friendship with Jeffrey Epstein, who will, you know, obviously there'll be a bust of him in the new ballroom. What the fuck? Uh-oh, we're being interrupted again, aren't we? Yep.
There was a story added on, which was not particularly nice. And the building was very, very much changed from what it was originally. It was never thought of as being much. It was a very small building. And rather than...
It was.
...allowing that to hurt...
A lot of ancient buildings, antique buildings, classic buildings aren't very big. I've noticed that,
A very expensive, beautiful building that, frankly, they've been after for years. You have that. I brought these along so people could see, but...
Oh, thank God. Yeah. I mean, there's all this other shit in the world. The Gaza ceasefire is falling apart. You shit the bed with Russia, Ukraine, or whatever. But at least you brought some fucking doodles.
It's, there's a relative... Nobody's actually seen anything quite like it.
Well, then it shouldn't be attached to the White House, because it should be quite like the rest of the White House.
I think it'll be one of the great ballrooms anywhere in the world. It's about $300 million. It's set to do many, many things, including meetings of foreign leaders, including the honoring of foreign leaders. You can see this. This is a plan. If it's got tables so that you honor.
They let you touch those? They printed them out from you for you from the printer in the office, and they let you look at them and draw on them and stuff like that. Was that fun? Was that a good afternoon where you got to take the little pictures and go, oh, I didn't do any of this. Oh, okay. Oh, pretty.
A foreign leader, we have a proper space right now.
So it's a rectangle. Okay, cool.
We have a space that with tables holds about 79 people. And this is a proper kind of a thing. Now, what the White House was doing...
Yeah, if you're selling tickets like you do, you're going to want to get into the multiple hundreds, because it's just, you can't leave that cash on the table.
As you know, as they were putting tents out on the lawn, this is an interior shot of the ballroom. I think there'll be nothing like it. And it's being paid for 100% by me and some friends of mine, donors to it. The government's paying absolutely nothing. We're also working with the military on it because they want to make sure everything's perfect, and the military is very much involved in this. They want to make sure everything is absolutely beautiful. You can see the kind of interiors.
Let me guess, gold, gross, nouveau riche bullshit.
That we're talking about. That's an interior of the ballroom.
Yeah, I could tell. It's fucking orange.
And it's the highest level. And you see it.
I have to say, it looks like something out of if Scrooge McDuck starred in The Shining.
It goes beautifully with the White House. I mean, the mix is beautiful. So over the years, many presidents have made changes. This obviously would be the biggest change, but this was something they've wanted for at least 100.
Who's they, you weirdo?
50 years. Many of you have gone to the events where they had, as an example, President Xi, or they had, a leader of one of the countries, including the king and the queen from your favorite country.
Absolutely.
Frankly. But where they'd be honored, and they'd be in a tent out on the lawn, and it would rain, and it was a disaster. Brian's shaking his head. You know what I'm talking about. And so I thought I'd bring this out because this is going to be...
Oh, God. Like, I'm so glad I don't like any of these people. But I'm especially enjoying the cringe level of these three. Look at this whole, just limp dick staring at the tabletop, astral projecting themselves out of the building. Fuck, this is embarrassing and weird, and he keeps talking about it, and I wish he'd shut the fuck up. And we're here to talk about NATO, and he's talking about a ballroom, and he brings out drawing and, fucking CGI renders of it. It's fucking gross.
Probably the finest ballroom ever built, and we're doing it no cost to the country. It's being put, the money's being put in by me and donors, very great patriots actually. And the spirit on the building of it is amazing. We are using little sections of footings and various other things, but that's sort of irrelevant. In order to
it's irrelevant.
Do it properly, we had to take down the existing structure. The way it was shown, it looked like we were touching the White House. We don't touch the White House. That's a bridge, a glass bridge, going from the White House to the ballroom. Then you get into the lobby of the ballroom, and then you go into the magnificent, the main room. And it's something...
Yeah, can you play Clue on that? I want to be Miss Scarlet.
That has gotten incredible...
I want the lead pipe this time, damn it. I never get the lead pipe.
Reviews.
And you're just quickly following up on that.
It literally looks like a bunch of, like, executive assholes playing a board game.
Just quickly following up on that, sir. I just want a quick follow-up on that question. Your response to people who say that you haven't been transparent enough about this.
I haven't been transparent?
That some of your critics feel it should have gone through a
I've
review.
shown this to everybody that would listen. Third-rate reporters didn't see it because they didn't look. You're a third-rate reporter, always have been. So third-rate reporters didn't look, but anybody that asked, these pictures have been in newspapers. They've been all over the place, and, you know, we're very proud of it.
You know they're not photos, right? It doesn't exist yet. Yes? That's not the point. It's not done. It wasn't done without damaging the other building. You lied about that. Just fucking cop to it, dummy.
It's gotten great reviews.
Has it? Really? Is it heartwarming and yet action-packed? Is it a thrill-packed adrenaline ride?
Really great reviews. So
reviews. Everything's fucking vaudeville.
I think we've been more transparent than anybody's ever been.
Well, if you think so, then what? I mean, who needs facts?
I believe, Mr. President, that the sanctions that you're announcing today will push Putin to the...
Well, I don't know that they will. I think that they'll certainly have an impact. They're massive sanctions. It's sanctions on oil. The two biggest oil companies, among the biggest in the world, but they're Russian. They do a lot of oil. And hopefully it'll push... hopefully he'll become reasonable, and hopefully Zelensky will be reasonable too. You know, it takes two to tango, as they say.
Yeah, this isn't a dance, you dumb motherfucker.
And we're going to find out. They hate each other. These two people hate each other.
No. It doesn't boil down to a personal beef, you dumb motherfucker. Putin sent rape squads into the other guy's country.
You know that better than anybody. And it makes it more difficult than it should be. This should be easier.
Why? One country invaded the other and did horrible shit while they did it. Why would it be easier?
To do. But the level of hatred between Zelensky and Putin is very substantial.
Yeah, he thinks everything's personal and transactional, and that's how he thinks it'll go. Maybe I can pay this guy to shut the fuck up and pay this guy to shut the fuck up. That's what they did with Hamas, honestly. It cost us probably, what, another $20 billion?
Could I add one thing? What the president is doing today with these sanctions is putting more pressure, of course, on both parties, in this case on Russia. It's all about changing the calculus, making sure that Putin understands that the president's vision this weekend of having a ceasefire, stop where they are, as you literally said, and that this has to be step one now. And for him to really accept that vision and to come to the table. And then you have to put pressure, and this is exactly what he did today.
Along with Europe. I mean, Europe, look, they've actually become friends of mine. I think yes. All of them.
See what I tell you. This motherfucker thinks you've become president. Everybody likes you. Hey, dummy, they're bullshitting you. They know they have to play to your ego and act like you know what you're doing because you control the largest military in the world. Because you were elected. You didn't build the fucking thing. You don't know how any of it runs. You put dickheads in charge of all the, like, the important departments of our government. So, no, they're not your friends. They know they have to kiss your ass so that you won't impulsively fuck things up. That's it. Honestly, it's like if you put a fucking exoskeleton on Grandpa and he's lost his mind, but if he You have to treat him gingerly now, or he might lash out and fucking kill the dog.
We have a very close relationship, and
the grandkids, and the gardener, and his wife.
they want to see it end too. They really want to see it end. But I can say they're totally committed. If this went on for 10...
Yeah, but what does the end look like? Everybody wants a war to end, like I said. The person being attacked wants the attack to stop, and the person who is attacking wants to win everything that they are fighting for. The person who's being attacked also wants to win back everything that's been taken from them. That's how both sides want the war to end. So just saying they want it to end, it's like people talking about the ACA, and it was so unpopular. It was like half of the people didn't think it went far enough, and half of them don't want it to exist. Do you think the people who didn't think it went far enough are more in line with the people who like it, or the people who don't like it at all?
For 10 more years, Europe is behind them. They just can't let that happen. You can't let what's been going on now. It should have never happened. It would have never happened if I were president.
Which is bullshit. If that was true, it would stop.
But it did happen.
It did?
Inherited. This was Biden, a man who was, without question, you take a look at the new walkway, the Presidential Walk of Fame, we call it. Biden is the worst president we've ever had, if he was even a president. The people that surrounded that desk made those.
So, and he got an infrastructure bill passed. You couldn't do that in your first term. And you certainly wouldn't be able to pass it now if he hadn't. So he's the worst, and you couldn't pass even the simplest bills that he passed. And you're still piggybacking on top of the CHIPS and Science Act as much as you bullshit about it. Don't get me started about the VA Choice Act of 2014.
Made those decisions, but this should have never happened. It wouldn't have happened, but it did happen. I inherited it. We're going to get it ended hopefully soon. Yes, please.
You had a Truth Social post earlier this afternoon talking about a Wall Street Journal report. It's a fake story.
Yeah, fake. Wall Street Journal is fake.
Yes, Rupert Murdoch's own Wall Street Journal. Can you believe you would see the day?
Less fake on financial than it is on gossip.
Can you just confirm that my understanding of what's happening is accurate? As I understand it, that story framed it like we had just lifted the U.S. a restriction on intelligence.
No, it said that I gave Ukraine permission to shoot missiles deep into Russia. I didn't do that. Second of all, they're not using our missiles. They're using, I think, European missiles or from someplace, but they're not using ours. And what they do, I don't control that. But I do control our missiles. They're not shooting our missiles in. It was a fake story. Wall Street Journal does a lot of fake stories.
Thank you so much. The president of Colombia in a recent interview said that if you won't change, he thinks that people should get rid of you.
We're talking about now Colombia, the country, not the university.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty sure.
He said what?
I don't know. Have you blown up any boats from the university lately?
He said that if you won't change, then perhaps you need to be gotten rid of. Do you view that as a threat?
Well, he's a thug and bad guy. He's a guy that is making a lot of drugs. We've just, as of today, stopped all payments going to Colombia, the country, Colombia.
Did you tell Don Jr.? Is he okay with that?
Also,
I don't think, I'm just saying, from a Don Jr. standpoint, I'm fairly certain you haven't stopped all payments to Colombia. I'm just going to throw that out there.
the school Colombia, no, we settled. We made a settlement with him. But no, he's a thug, and he's a bad guy, and he's hurt his country very badly. They're doing very poorly, Colombia. They make cocaine. They have cocaine factories. They grow all sorts of crap that's drugs, bad drugs coming into the United States.
Yeah, they have crap trees. Yeah.
States goes
crap apples, I think they're called. Yeah.
Generally through Mexico. And
generally.
He better watch it or we'll take very serious action against him and his country. His country is, what he has led his country into is a death trap.
Okay, so the idea is that if he threatened you and you get a wild hair up your ass, we're going to bomb Colombia next and kill its leader. Ladies and gentlemen, the Peace President. Yes, who would have thought the Peace President would give you the Department of War and war with Colombia and Venezuela and extrajudicial killings of boats and everyone in them from wherever they came to wherever they're going.
Please.
As the Secretary General presented his Ukraine peace plan to you, are you prepared to be chairman of the board of peace?
Oh, there is no Secretary General peace plan. But I'm here. No, I really want to correct it because I saw some of that in the media. Of course, many people are thinking how to bring this terrible war to an end and supporting the president in doing that. Why I'm here is to dialogue again with the president how I can be, how NATO, my colleagues and other colleagues in NATO can be of maximum support to get that done. But there is no peace plan on the table. If there is a peace plan, it is what the president said last Friday and Sunday, which is stop where you are. Stop the fighting.
This is about NATO. We're a very proud member of NATO. We have a great
maggots are going to love that
relationship with the countries of NATO. I think made much better by our visit a few months ago when they agreed to 5% instead of 2% of GDP. That was a big concession. I think that was a concession that 2 years ago nobody would have said, even a year ago.
Even 9 months ago, before you were elected.
Yeah, they would have said that's not possible. And the difference is they're paying 5% as opposed to not paying 2%. A lot of them weren't paying, with the exception of Spain. I think you're going to have to talk to Spain because Spain is not a team player. So other than Spain, everybody's 100%, and you could solve the Spain problem.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. Our chief weapons are surprise and fear, and 5% of it. Oh damn! I'll come in again.
Very easily, I think, if you want. Brian, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. And then we'll take Brian. Go ahead.
The soybean farmers, are they going to be getting support from you soon?
Yeah, well, they do. So what's happened, you could say with that, you could say with beef, with all of it. The beef, the ranchers, let's say.
The beef ranchers?
Who have done a great job, have lost their shirts for many, many years.
Have they looked in the drawers in their bureaus at home, or perhaps they're hanging in the closet? I don't know.
Really been
maybe check the hamper.
Decimated, and I helped them a lot. I put tariffs on things coming in to the country, including beef, and that gave them a chance to finally have a decent industry. We are going to be talking to them. They're great people, but they've been hurt for 25, 30 years. They've been losing because other countries.
Yeah, but this year especially
have taken advantage of them. And by putting tariffs on, they've been able to make a few dollars. They've been able to have an industry.
Yeah, because we never had cattle ranching in the United States till last year, I guess. Yeah, no Texan has ever been pridefully rich herding cattle or whatever. I don't even. There are those boys that work with, what are they called, cows or something? I'll look it up.
But I also want to keep the beef prices low. So I'll be talking with the ranchers, and I'll be speaking with a lot of.
Yeah, they've got a message for you, all right.
Different people, including Scott and Howard, and we'll do something because prices are way down in our country. Energy is way down. I think you're going to see $2 gasoline very soon. I see that it's $2.50 in a lot of places. $2.50. We were heading to $5, $6, and $7. If Biden didn't go back to my policy toward the end, you would have seen. But he didn't go back to the full policy, and he missed the most important thing. So we were up to, which
I guess would be the drill, baby, drill over our aquifers.
Way up. I think you're going to see $2 gasoline. We could even break that number. That's a big difference. The only cost that's really up is beef, and the fake news only wants to talk about beef. And what I did is I made it possible for those people to survive. They're incredible people. But they were being decimated by other countries. No. And I didn't want that to happen.
Yeah, no, they really weren't. Trump's plan for buying Argentinian beef prompts backlash from ranchers. To get the feel, okay. Trump told reporters on Sunday the U.S. could buy some beef from Argentina, predicting the move will bring beef prices down, adding it would help Argentina, which we consider a very good country, a very good ally. Trump made the comments after the U.S. announced a $40 billion economic assistance package for Argentina, including a $20 billion currency swap with Argentina's central bank that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said was finalized Tuesday, which is, by the way, we bought $20 billion worth of their currency, which has nowhere to go but down. It's overvalued right now. That's its problem. His suggestion for importing beef prompted backlash from ranchers and at least one Republican lawmaker, Deb Fischer from Nebraska, where I understand they have a lot of cows that eat grass. There's a lot of grass in that state. Fisher said Tuesday on X she has deep concerns over the Trump administration's proposal to import beef from Argentina and has been in touch with his administration about the idea. Bottom line, if the goal is addressing beef prices at the grocery store, this isn't the way. Contrary to what the Mandalorian might say, this is not the way. Right now, government intervention in the beef market will hurt our cattle ranchers. CEO of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, Colin Woodall, said that in a statement Monday, this plan only creates chaos at a critical time of the year for American cattle producers while doing nothing to lower grocery prices. Fucking adorable. Argentina has deeply unbalanced trade relationship with the U.S., and they have hoof and mouth disease.
So prices are way down, groceries are down, everything.
Nope.
Everything's down, energy's way down. Even interest rates with a bad chairman of the Fed. He's terrible. He's a fool. But even interest rates are down. So our country has never done better. We're going
yeah, we have. A lot.
To take in, I think, $21 trillion this year. No country has ever taken in more than 3, and we're going to take in $21 trillion of investments because.
Could we see could Besant do a rundown of the balance sheet on that alleged money coming in? Because I know, what is it? L.A. is doing a $30 billion expansion ahead of the Olympics and the World Cup, and then Seattle's doing another one too. They're doing about $30 billion. Chicago's doing a $10 billion expansion. That's all from tax dollars from the local constituents. That's bond initiatives in either the state or in the city itself. It's not because money is being invested by fucking Saudis.
Because of the tariffs. If we didn't have tariffs, we would be a mess. We would be a national security problem. And we've done a job. So I'm very happy about that. We're going to do something very quickly and easily on beef to get it down. He's
going to flood the market with cheap Argentinian beef and undercut cattle ranchers here and drive their prices down at a time when they are barely getting by, and fuck them again. And then he's going to have to pay them to keep quiet.
The ranchers understand that.
No, they don't.
They're so happy for what I've done.
No, they're not.
Save them. I don't think you'd have any beef in this country if.
I mean, it's just fucking bananas. And again, please pull out and show everybody sitting around going, no beef. What the fuck is this guy talking about?
I didn't do that. So we're very proud of that. Yeah, Brian?
Yesterday in Los Angeles.
Brian, give me a softball. My asshole hurts from the rest of these questions.
Immigration officials were attacked by some protesters.
Yeah, sure.
To arrest an illegal alien. Gavin Newsom, other Democrats, have used very aggressive language in terms of how to address ICE cases out in the field. Is there any responsibility that we can place on Gavin Newsom and other elected officials for using such aggressive language?
Well, Gavin has to be careful. Remember that when I first came in, they had a terrible riot in Los Angeles. They had the fires, which shouldn't have happened. They didn't have the water for the fires. They should have had the water coming in from the Pacific Northwest. They didn't have the water.
Yes, that water still doesn't come down there. That's not how it works. It's a big fucking state, dummy.
They didn't have water in the hydrants or the sprinklers, so they had the fires, and then they had the riot. And if we didn't...
We had a riot? Oh, he means like down at the ICE facility. I was like, you mean in that 4-block area?
Go and take care of that riot, you would have lost Los Angeles.
No. We would have, you know what? We would have saved it we would have stopped it with giant walls of ground beef.
You would have canceled the Olympics, which is because of me in Los Angeles. And the police commissioner, the head of the police, said, if the president didn't come in, we would have lost Los Angeles.
No, he did not.
He did not have the capability of taking care of it. And he said,
again, fucking stupid. That it's just absurd. And it gets dumber every time he says it.
Said it very strongly.
No, he didn't.
And we did a great job. And within a week, it was all done. Within one day, it was done. But within a week, it was all done.
Yeah, it was done and then all done. And I think there is a difference. It's like nude and all nude.
And they go back to their normal practice of weakness, of not taking care of criminals, meaning taking care of putting them in jails where they should be.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant getting them foot massages or something.
Washington, D.C., and you all are the best people for that, because Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest cities. It was one of the most dangerous cities in the country. Now,
no, it wasn't.
Washington, D.C., believe it or not, I'm embarrassed to say it in front of you, but Washington, D.C. went from one of the worst, most dangerous cities to you can walk down the street, you can send your child to meet you at a location. Your child is going to be fine.
How old a child are we talking about? I'm not going to send a toddler out into traffic. I just think that's a bad idea.
We have a very, very safe city, one of the safest, and, you know, very proud of that. Memphis, by the way, is coming along fantastically. We're in Memphis right now.
Because Elon Musk has a giant facility there and you're basically doing private security for him?
We had the FBI in Chicago. We're doing things.
Again, they didn't give a fuck about Memphis until XAI built that big facility.
We haven't served Chicago yet. When we do, Chicago will be very quickly a very, very safe city. But if you look at what's happening in Memphis, it's great. But you got to look at Washington. People are coming up to me, people that work in the White House, they're saying, "Thank you, sir." And I immediately know.
Yeah, that's how everyone has to talk to you. Otherwise, you'll fire them. I think that's like, "Thank you, sir," is the greeting in the White House.
Know what they're thanking me about. It's thanking they can walk to work. They would never walk to work a year ago. They can walk into work and they feel safe and secure, and it's beautiful. And
yeah, that car driving into the gates and smashing into the gates, that didn't dissuade them. I guess as long as you're not in front of the gates, I guess.
Tell you what, it's really an honor to add that great ballroom to the structures in
Jesus Christ.
Washington. It's going to be one of the great ballrooms of the world.
What an asshole.
And I think it's going to be something you're all going to be very proud of.
Yes, I've always thought of the greatest ballrooms in the world are all rectangles. And as long as you can build a rectangle with a bunch of columns in it, that'd be sweet.
As it relates to your meeting that's coming up with President Xi, what do you hope comes out of that meeting? What deliverables?
I think we'll make a deal. I think we're going to make a deal on the rare earth is the least of it. Look, the tariffs are much more powerful than the rare earth. The rare earth is a disturbance, but there's a lot of rare earth around. I'll tell you, I've had more calls on rare earth. We've got it. Everybody's.
Right, so it's not very rare is what you're saying.
We'll make a deal on, I think, everything. I think we're going to make a deal on soybeans and the farmers. I think we're going to make a deal on maybe even nuclear. You know, President Putin in his call mentioned to me about nuclear, where we do a de-escalation, and I'm fine with that. I think it's good. I think it's a very appropriate thing. We have...
A what? A de-escalation of what? So with China and... Huh? Hold on.
And the farmers, I think we're going to make a deal on maybe even nuclear. You know, President Putin in his call mentioned to me about nuclear, where we do a de-escalation, and I'm fine with that. I think it's good. I think it's a very appropriate thing. We have the most nuclear weapons. Russia's second. China is actually third by a long way, but they'll be even within 4 or 5 years. Too many. And we are talking about de-escalation. That's already being talked about. And I think we'll add...
Well, it worked. Your talks with Kim Jong-un worked out so well. He just tested some more missiles yesterday.
Probably add China into the...
Day before yesterday. I don't know. The time difference.
Mr. President, President Xi to stop purchasing all that Russian oil that's funding this war against Ukraine.
Well, I think I'll be talking to him about it. I think it's a little bit of a different talk. India, as you
It's a different talk.
know, has told me they are stop. You know, it's a process. You can't just stop it. But
yeah, you can't just stop and get it from somewhere else.
Oh, by the end of the year, they'll be down to almost nothing. That's a big thing. That was almost 40% of the oil. India, they've been great. Spoke to Prime Minister Modi yesterday. They've been absolutely great. China's a little bit different. You know, they're a little bit different relationship they have with Russia. It was never good, but because of Biden and Obama, they got forced together. They should.
Sorry, and in between, they weren't driven apart by you being there magically last time, and now the same thing would happen again, I guess, because you're here.
Never been forced together, but they're a little bit forced.
They were forced together.
But they're by nature.
A little bit forced, you know, like your sex life.
They're not. They can't be friendly. They can't be friendly. By nature, they can, I hope they are friendly, frankly, but they can't be.
okay, he's winding.
You don't want you.
He's winding down. Like the tank is empty.
You should not have forced Russia and China together. And Biden did that, and Obama did that. They forced them together because of energy, because of oil, and so they are closer than they would normally be. I think I'll probably be talking about it. What I'll really be talking to him about is how do we end the war with Russia and Ukraine, whether it's through oil.
Well, part of that would be the oil. Shit.
Oil or energy or anything else.
Oil or energy. Well, if you're going to cover that broad a bunch of topics, I suppose you have to go and get some reading done to catch up on that if you're going to cover oil and energy.
And I think he's going to be very receptive. He would now like to. I'm not sure that he did at the beginning. He would now like to see that war end.
Sorry, Xi Jinping wanted the war to go on. Now he might change his mind. Why? Because Zhang Youxia is actually running the government now?
Xi plays an important role, Mr. President. Do you think Xi plays an important role in terms of inserting himself and convincing Putin, who he speaks to regularly, to stop the war?
Yeah, I do. I think he can have a big influence on Putin. I think he can have a big influence on a lot of people. Look, he's a respected man. He's a very strong leader of a very big country. Yeah, I think he can have a big influence. And we will certainly be talking about Russia, Ukraine.
Thank you, Mr. President. Liam Costco, Fitzgerald. My question is actually for the Secretary General.
Yes.
Mr. Secretary, I don't know if you've seen this, but polling out of Ukraine shows a massive collapse in Ukrainian support for the war. A Gallup poll had it just 23%. That's less than a quarter. Zelensky came out today praising President Trump's proposal for freezing the front lines of battle as part of a ceasefire. He said that's a good compromise. So people view your coming here as, you're lobbying the U.S. government to continue its involvement in the war. You're obviously lobbying for more NATO weapons to be sent to Ukraine, but Ukrainians themselves don't want to fight the war. So how do you justify that morally?
Well, I'm lobbying only for one thing, and that is to make sure that we end this war. And I don't have to lobby the president because we totally agree on this. And this is what he has been doing from day one. Everything he could do to break the deadlock with Putin, get the dialogue going, dialoguing also with Zelensky, and getting this war done. It's crucial. And the fact that you...
this guy's being very diplomatic, but the answer to that asshat's question is that 25% of them don't want to continue the war because they think it's just been grinding. They want to either advance and win or stop. That's the idea. And again, the polling question's all over the place. The reality is that you ask them if they want to surrender, and they go, and immediately the number goes to like 85%. Like, fuck that. That's the difference here. Like, they also don't want to surrender. The same poll.
The US is now supplying weapons into Ukraine, paid for by allies, is extremely important. And that's now happening since 2-3 months. About 2 billion moving into Ukraine.
The war hasn't wound down. Why do you think that'll wind it down now?
What do you mean?
Do you think more weapons will wind down the war?
No, I mean, there's more to be done. So what you need, what the president said this weekend, stop where you are, so basically do a ceasefire and then have all your discussions about territory and whatever. But first, stop the war. This is what you said on Friday and on Sunday.
It's a war. I mean, your question's really a fair one. It's a war that should have never started.
Yeah, but big fucking deal.
You know how I feel about it. But it's a war that should have never started. And we're not selling any weapons to Ukraine. We're selling them to NATO.
Yeah.
Which is different from before. With Biden, he just gave $350 billion worth of weapons and cash right into Ukraine, and that was so foolish. But we sell them.
It's a fucking difference. Honestly, what's the fucking difference? It's a bank shot. You're just adding a layer of bureaucracy.
To NATO, and in theory, you can do what you want with them. It doesn't have to be Ukraine, but probably it is mostly.
No, what nations are doing now is buying from this program and making sure that the supply is in Ukraine, so Europeans and Canadians. And for example, these are interceptors for the Patriot systems, crucial to protect the cities. Today, again, a Russian attack has killed children, at least seriously wounded children in kindergarten in Ukraine. So we need to make sure that the air defense systems are in place, and we need the US systems to do that, and the Europeans are paying for that. And this is exactly the type of actions we needed, and the President is doing that and trying everything to get this war to an end, starting with the ceasefire.
The other thing, too, is ask that guy, when you asked, Sergei Lavrov or Vladimir Putin what what their terms were to end this. What did they say?
Do you still believe that Putin wants to take all of Ukraine?
I always felt that way. I
It
always
was the apple of his eye.
felt he wanted to.
Oh shit! I got 6 minutes left.
When I was in my first term, I was I was very close to him, relatively speaking. It was harder.
Yes, most of the time he put on a rubber glove, but not always. There was just, it depends on what kind of mood Putin was in at any given time.
Moon River. You using the whole fist doc?
Mm-hmm.
Because of the Russia hoax. But I would talk to President Putin about Ukraine, and it was the apple of his eye. I'd say it was the apple of his eye.
Yeah, that's super fucking weird.
But it would have never happened. He knew the consequences were too great.
What consequences? If he's in there now and you could turn on those consequences, whatever they were, and get him the fuck out. What consequences?
We had a rigged election, and all of a sudden I wasn't there. He said, wow. I think he looked at Afghanistan, how horribly that was handled, so stupidly. And I think that really gave him a little additional, incentive. I always
And how'd that work out? He's lost a fucking million soldiers.
felt he wanted the whole thing, not a piece of it. But I think now he's willing to negotiate a little bit further, and I think he's willing to make a deal. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
We don't want him. We don't want him to have the whole thing.
Well, that's sweet.
Right, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. You have this big terrorist case before the Supreme Court. It's November the 5th.
Yeah.
You suggested you might actually show up to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, I'd like to. I think it's one of the most important.
Yeah, you should go down there and argue.
To
I gave you guys your jobs. You're supposed to side with me. I don't give a fuck about the law.
Decisions we'll ever have from the Supreme Court. With tariffs, we're a strong, sound country. We're a nationally secure and internationally secure country. We're a very rich country. Without tariffs, it's a slog for this country, a big slog. I think it's one of the most important decisions.
Well, then, why has the economy grown over the last 3 decades inexorably without them?
Decisions in the history of the Supreme Court, and I might go there. I really believe I have an obligation to go there.
Yeah, go there and argue the law. Yeah, please. I can't wait to hear those recordings.
We are doing so well as a country right now because of tariffs, and you have to understand tariffs have been used against us for many years, decades, and just slowly but surely hurting our country so badly. That's why we owe $37 trillion. We owe
No, it isn't.
that because other countries have taken advantage of us over many decades, And now...
No, it's because we borrowed our way out of like 3 major crises, including the Afghanistan and Iraq wars.
We're a rich country. We're taking in money like we've never done before. Without tariffs, that would not be happening. And also, I solved, as you know, 8 wars.
Oh, my God.
Of the 8, 5 of them, maybe even 6 of them, are
probably 2.
Because of tariffs. The threat of tariffs on these nations, if you want to fight, that's okay. India and Pakistan. If you want to fight, that's okay. But you're going to pay tariffs, and they're going to be very substantial.
If you guys nuke each other and destroy the entire world, we're not buying sauce from you anymore.
And we're in the midst of a trade deal. And they said, we don't want to do that. 2 days later, they call up and they're not going to fight anymore. They have peace. But I've done that out of 8, I would say 6 times, 5 times, 6 times.
5 times, 6 times, 3 times, 2 times. Real quick, I have to run soon, but I want to show you this before I do. Let's see. They've been trying to do and I can't believe Trump hasn't taken credit for it. I think there's been a temporary ceasefire in Afghanistan, Pakistan. Let's see, Afghanistan. Yeah, okay. I'm going to try to get here's 16 hours ago. This is recent. There you go. This is going on, by the way, while all this shit is happening. Let's just go with these. I'll just throw you these little things real quick. So this is Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm gonna get a copyright strike on these songs, whatever. Okay, so that's the insurgency on their right flank, and then this is Pakistan planning a coup against the Taliban. So this is how Trump's gonna get back Bagram. That's what this shit was about. Regime change in Kabul, and that will be using the Pakistani military as our proxy. That's how he struck a deal with them. And Afghanistan just tested a missile that they're threatening to use against Pakistan. Here's the breaking news. Taliban defense minister exposes Pak's false narratives. This is the Pakistan, breaking news from the Taliban. Taliban defense minister's big statement, which I have to translate because I don't. I don't know if they show footage of it. Let's see. Decision on the line. Yeah, decision on the line rests with the people of Afghanistan because there's a war going on between Pakistan and Afghanistan currently, and they go back and forth. Here you go. This is get in here. This is 8 hours ago. That's from Pakistan. Can Pakistan and Afghanistan end their border conflict? This is 4 days ago. This is ongoing. And then there's a huge bunch of obviously Afghan refugees that are in Pakistan. Trump has no idea. No idea. And apparently it's news to some of you guys. Yeah, yes. Nobody's talking about the government shutdown anymore. Well, yeah, exactly. Because they won't talk about it until it gets to the point where certain benchmarks are hit and people aren't going to get paid. And then they'll start really getting squeamish about it. Right-wingers, the problem Trump has is that the right-wingers are more squeamish about it than the Democrats are, and they're having a hard time figuring that out because it's because the red states need the fucking money. That's just the reality. So anyways, I have to go, you guys. Appreciate you so much. I have to run. I started a little bit early, so if you missed the beginning of the show, you can go back and check that out. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Venmo is a great way to support the show. And, of course, thank you guys for the super chats and the support. I greatly appreciate it. I've got to set up a little window that while I'm doing the comment section, I can see when people come up and do that because I get so busy doing the show, I don't get a chance to thank you while I'm doing it. But then the whole purpose of it is to do the show. I understand, it's just saying. But this is how I don't do ads. This is how I don't try to sell you fucking sheets and dog food and gold. And so I greatly appreciate you guys, and hopefully I bring a level of enlightenment to part of these conversation that you don't see anywhere else, and a level of detail and swearing. And because of that, because I use big boy language, the deep state is out to get me, and I am definitely being throttled in the algorithm on YouTube. There's no question about it. So every like matters, every comment on videos matters, every subscription matters. So if you can help out in any way, please do. Loud and Proud helps a lot. Obviously clipping from Twitch and those kind of things helps as well, that you can post online. Appreciate you guys, and I will see you later on. I'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon. The Thursday show is an hour later than the rest of the week because family FaceTime, but you guys understand that. And I appreciate you, and I will see you guys later. Peace.
Salt water in their veins.